Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of how a computer works. And in this video we'll be seeing the bus. And in let okay I'll also have to discuss how a simplified register works and how we can actually draw it even more simpler. So if you haven't watched what and how a register works, you should see the previous video, and also the video about memory and bytes. So let me just first draw the part. Okay, let me just first draw the actual register with 8 inputs. Okay, another color so that is easier to understand. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and also 8 outputs for this. And we also, okay, this is the byte part, and we also have the enabler part, and again connect it to the enabler. And we now also have 8 outputs for each of these wires connected. Okay, and these are all the outputs. This is the input, and this is just the connection between the bytes and the enabler. And we also have the setter and the enabler for the register. And now we'll be drawing a very simplified version of this diagram, and this shouldn't take much space, so let me just draw it here. And also the enabler part, and these are the pink this is the connection between the byte and the enabler, and also the okay. Now we have seen that instead of 8 bits or 8 wires, which is used to represent one single byte, we have just drawn 2 of them, so that we don't have to again keep drawing those 8 bits together. So from next time, if you see these two wires connected together very closely, then you'll know that it's 8 bits together. And also I'll also explain that in the video, but still you should know what those 2 wires connected together means, and this means that 8 wires are connected for 8 bits, and we have just simplified the drawing. So that's just how we've simplified our register drawing. Oh, and here is also the enabler and disabler part, if you just think. So that's all for this part, and now we'll be moving on to another part. Oh, now let me just erase all of them. Sorry for the delay. Okay, now we'll be seeing the simplified version of the actual register itself. The register part, the input, which we've just seen that these are actually 8 of them. I've only drawn 2 of them, and the setter and the enabler. So now we'll be moving on what a bus is. First, let me just write the definition. Is set of 8 wires that goes to various places in a computer, so that the content of these 8 wires, which will be carrying bits, sorry, and 8 wires together, 1 byte, and connected together in various places so that the data can be transferred from one place to another for various different needs. So that is what a bus is. And now I'll also be drawing a simplified version, and now let me just first draw what a bus looks like actually. Sorry for the redoing. There are also 8 of them, as we have always previously seen. 8 of them, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8. These are all straight line, but you know, I can draw them all straight. And there are the connection to an wire which is just going upwards, then that these wires again. Sorry for all the clumsiness. So let me just draw this one in different color. Okay, now I'll just explain you how the bus works, and it's very simple. From this part of the wire, suppose we take this part and a byte A comes, and this will go to this intersection part, or the circle part we have just drawn to show that the intersection is between these two wires, and the A will go through this direction and also in this direction. And this is just how different places we can send one single byte using wires, and that is just what a bus is. And you can understand that to all of these single different wire, the same thing will happen. From this part it will go through this and also this, and this is just how a bus looks like. This is just connection of 8 wires to carry data to and from different places for different needs. So now I'll just be drawing a simplified version of this, which is not that hard at all. Not a simplified version also. Yeah, it is simple, but it's also 2D. This is the same party as we have just saw. There are 8 of them together, but I have also only drawn 2 of them to make it simplified, and so there is actually 8 of them instead of 2, which I have drawn the 8 of them in the previous part. Now I'm just drawing it in a simplified version. So this is the simplified version of 8 wire bus, and this can carry, suppose this is an A and this one is B. From to this part A will go and this part B will go, and here is those all of the intersection, and so still A will go to this part, and that is just how a bus works. In the next video we'll be looking at how a register can be used with bus to actually memorize different byte for different register, and the register we want it to memorize, we can do that, and we'll see how in the next video. If you want to see more video, please subscribe to our channel, as we will be posting about how computer works and more future videos. Stay tuned. If you want to learn more about how computer works, you can read this book called But How Do It Know, written by Clark Scott. All of this material I have been using is actually taking help from this wonderful book written by Clark Scott about how actually a computer works, and it is for everyone, so everyone will be able to understand the simple language. And I have been using some of this content to create my videos. However, some of the content are copyrighted by Clark Scott by himself, but I have been given permission to use it. So anyways, if you want to learn more about how computer works, you can check this simple written book, But How Do It Know.